Well, this week, Latitude Finance admitted its cyber attack is now one of the most serious ever seen in Australia, with more than 14 million customer records compromised going back to 2005. The greater problem is that Latitude, which sprung from the old GE Money and AGC finance company, has provided finance packages for some of our biggest retailers, including Harvey Norman, JB Hi-Fi, Apple and others. But it also raises another serious issue. Is any company safe? So let's bring in here Jonathan Jackson, who leads the cyber engineering sales for Blackberry in the Pacific and Japan. Jonathan, many thanks for your time. That question, is any organisation safe right now with your data?
No, so we don't believe that any individual, any company, any government organisation is safe because we're living in a very, very challenging cyber landscape at this stage. OK, but it almost seems as though the cyber criminals are ahead of the companies, are ahead of the governments in many ways. I mean, everybody is trying to basically prop up the back door and make certain it's locked. But the fact is, there are so many ways in. That's true. So it doesn't matter how many locks you put on the front door, they're going to find other ways in. And I think we're starting to see, you know, if Australia needed any kind of additional wake-up calls in terms of cybersecurity, we've seen some high-profile attacks in recent months. And it's only going to get worse. So really looking at a holistic view of where your data is secured, how are you securing that, how many additional locks you put on your front door, these are really important questions that every single board and every single organisation needs to be answering now. Of course, it's got to go straight to the board level because they're now becoming culpable as a result of legislation the government's proposing. Claire O'Neill, the Communications Minister. And in this particular case, this is the whole issue of the victims being those who lose their identities or their data. But the companies themselves are effectively being opened up to a theft. So aren't they kind of victims themselves? I know you've got to kind of ask the victims of the data theft. That's where we are instructed and we are challenged with storing and securing the privacy of Australians' data. Whoever has that responsibility, they need to make sure that data is secure, whether it's stored on a third-party system, on your own systems, it's on a supply chain, a software, third-party, whatever it is. We have a responsibility to ensure the data of Australians' information. OK, so then, say, for example, Crown yesterday came out and said it was a third party. It seemed like a relatively small thing. Today, it's, say, for example, Meriton and people who have been customers there. So this is a real issue that, you know, in all of these cases, the security needs to be greater quite clearly. But then the efforts of the criminals is becoming greater again. So there's no end to this. It's a cycle. It is a cycle. And I think good recognition there that the cyber landscape is becoming a lot more prevalent. We're expanding the cyber attack surface of how we do business today, how we interact with each other, how we interact with our customers, how we interact with our data. And cyber criminals are incredibly quick and adept at being able to exploit vulnerabilities. So they're using tools such as AI, for example, now to be able to exploit data. And we have a responsibility and a challenge to make sure that we're using the best tool sets that are available to protect Australia as a country, as well as protect Australia for corporate data and customer data.